Hey guys, what's up? It's Frank here from Altcoin Buzz. So today we're going to have a look at AVAX, which of course took a big hit with the Terra Luna collapse, currently in 17th place. AVAX is not looking very good. Not only do we have this big downtrend, but there isn't a lot of hope for the bulls until you go to the one-day time frame. So I'm going to show you why the one-day time frame is the time frame you need to be watching. And I'm also going to talk about the resistance levels and how they relate to other cryptocurrencies. For example, Matic, because we talked about Matic yesterday and its resistance levels are much more relevant than those of AVAX, even though there's a lot of similarities. So I'm going to tell you about what those are. And I'm also going to give you the signs that we are potentially reversing, at least for the coming couple of weeks. Now, for those of you who don't know, Altcoin Buzz is first and foremost a crypto investment research company, and we have been providing you numerous 100x returns since 2017. So if you want to get in on that action, join our Altcoin Buzz Access group, where we document up-to-date research covering undervalued altcoin gems, NFT minting opportunities, and our portfolio strategies. So click the link up above or down in the pinned comment section to take part in the action today. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so that you don't miss any future updates. And finally, please note that none of this is financial advice. Okay, so starting as usual with the weekly time frame, I'm going to briefly take you to a video which we produced here, which I produced for the channel a couple of months ago on May 20th. Will Avalanche ever recover from Terra Luna collapse? And here I mentioned the support levels, the next one being the $14.24 level if the 23.6 level broke. And indeed, the 23.6 level turned out to be a very relevant one, because once we broke that, there was very little hope for the bulls, and we ended up finding support. Actually, we touched down at $13.84, and we saw a almost 40% move from there. So it's worthy to note that these previous resistances, previous supports, are important to look at if you are looking to enter the market. But again, coming back to the weekly time frame, we saw many weeks of red here. It was really quite incredible that we saw a full 10 weeks of red before finally recovering. But as I mentioned in the last video, although it was unusual to already see 7 or 8 weeks of red, this is a very new chart, and of course the fundamentals did play a role as well. But now we are seeing signs of a recovery, and as we saw with Matic yesterday, we are seeing an inside bar here on the weekly time frame. So it is going to be important to look at the previous high of this inside bar and the previous low of this inside bar. Because if we get a break through the top, we're likely to see more upward momentum, and vice versa if we break through the downside of this inside bar. Okay, coming now down to the 3-day time frame. Here we are seeing a diagonal resistance line, but this diagonal resistance line, despite having been broken actually just recently, is not really all that relevant. Now, in yesterday's video, we talked about Matic's diagonal resistance line, and this has a lot of history all the way back to 27th of December 2021. So it's likely a lot more traders are looking at this and assigning relevance to it, whereas AVAX's one only goes back to the 13th of May 2022. So yes, it's a good sign that we have a break out of it, but really it's not all that relevant just yet. One thing to note here is that we are in the middle of a high volume zone. That means that once we break out of this zone, once we break this resistance that I mentioned, the $21.4 level, we are likely to see more movement to the upside, because then this zone will act as support. And similarly, if we break below this zone, it will not be good news for the bulls, because they will have even more resistance up ahead. The 3-day is showing positive signs, as are many cryptos. This is actually one of the most bullish timeframes to be looking at on many cryptocurrencies. We have the bullish crossover on the MACD, and we also have on the RSI this triple top at 31, at the 31 level, which we have now crossed. So again, that's a pretty good sign, considering that we've had a lot of oversold and now a crossover here. This is actually a pattern to be watching out for when you have a bullish divergence, which we did have between the 25th of May and the 12th of June. We saw a lower low in price and a higher high on the RSI. And what some traders will do is they will wait not until we see this new lower low with a bullish divergence, but they will wait until we cross the previous high, which in this case is the 30 level. And in this case, we have already crossed it. And some traders will use this as a confirmation of a change in momentum. That being said, we have yet to create an uptrend on the 3-day time frame. But of course, on the 1-day time frame, we have an uptrend, although only just. We almost broke through the previous low a few days ago on the 1st of July. But nonetheless, we have maintained an uptrend on the daily chart. And on the daily chart, we're also seeing something else which is interesting, which is this red line. This red line represents the 20 EMA. And now if we trace it back, we can see that it has acted as resistance ever since the 8th of April, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And then once we broke out of it, but then we came back down. But now we have again broken out of it. So this is quite a good sign that the bulls, at least over the coming couple of weeks, have regained some momentum, or at the very least that the bears have lost some momentum. So we're likely to see a lot of sideways action at the very best, and potentially we will see even a move up, breaking through this previous resistance. Now then, on the daily time frame, again, I'm going to compare it to Matic yesterday because Matic is representative of many other cryptocurrencies that we've covered on the channel. And the thing I'm going to be looking at is the volume. So look at the green volume bars. We want to look at the green volume bars which are over the average. This orange line here represents the average volume. And the green bars, of course, represent the bullish price action, the candles which have had a higher close than they have had an open. And if we look at the candles which are clearly very much above the average volume, we can see one on the 10th of May, then a second on the 13th of May, a third on the 14th, and a fourth on the 15th of June. So that's 4 candles which sort of show a lot of bullish volume. Now compare that to Matic here, and here you can see many candles which were very clearly above the average volume. So it shows that, for example, Matic, there's more strength in the market. There's more people buying and selling, and the bulls are winning over when it comes to all that buying and selling. So what you really want is to have a lot of volume to give confidence to a move up. So there's less confidence clearly in AVAX than there is in Matic, and also in there less confidence in AVAX than there is in many other cryptocurrencies. Not that surprising given the Terra Luna collapse. Okay, next we're going to look at the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to show you a great example of the Bollinger Bands and why they're also important to look at. Have a look at this. We saw a massive contraction of the Bollinger Bands here on the 4th of July. And once we had a break out of that, we saw a lot of more upwards price action. So this is something to always be watching out for. That's why I always show you on the charts if we're seeing a contraction of the Bollinger Bands, whichever direction we go, and it usually represents where the price will go over the coming periods. Now that being said, we have just hit overbought on the RSI on the 4-hour, and the last time we hit overbought, we saw a kind of stabilizing of price and then a move down. So the bulls will have to prove themselves to break this previous high to continue this uptrend. I suspect we will likely see a bit of downwards price action, or at the very least some stabilizing of the price before we see another move up due to this overbought indicator. And another reason for that is actually shown on the 3-day time frame here. Now if I show you just the previous price action, you can see that most of the volume ends at around the $21 level. But if we zoom out and we look at all the previous price action, you can see there's actually very stiff resistance between the 25 and the $31 level. And again, just to compare this to Matic, to give you some context, on Matic you can see that we have a liquidity gap all the way up until the $0.75 level. So again, many other cryptocurrencies don't have this stiff resistance up ahead in the way that AVAX does. So AVAX bulls do unfortunately have a lot to prove. That being said, let's now cover the support levels. The first one is the bottom of this inside bar, and incidentally also the previous 3-day low at the $15.77 level. The next is that previous low that we hit at the $14.24 level. And then finally, if we break that, we have this double bottom, which might hold support at the $9.33 level. When it comes to resistance, let's zoom in. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see a clear resistance at the $21.4 level. And as mentioned, this is also the top of the weekly inside bar, so that's a very important level to break for the bulls. If we zoom out, if we break that, then we unfortunately still have quite stiff resistance up at this zone here. But really the resistance will start the $25 level, because that's where the resistance will start according to previous volume. You can see back here in February and April, we saw a lot of price action in this area. So we're likely to see some resistance as soon as we reach that area. And then if, of course, we can break through that, then the next resistance will likely be over here at the top of this area at the $31.45 level. So in summary, support is at the $15.77, $14.24 and $9.33 level. Resistance is at the $21.4, $25.6 and $31.45 levels. Okay, that's been it from me for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to check out our other videos. We cover fundamental analysis, technical analysis, news, on-chain analysis. So subscribe to the channel to see more of that. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.